Hey, everybody. I know you're probably expecting our Ask Me Anything host, Claire Harvey May. Unfortunately, she was a bit under the weather today. So you are stuck with me, Mishalla. I'm sure you guys all missed me, haven't seen me on the YouTube channel in a while, but I'm really excited to be back today. And we are going to be kicking off this Ask Me Anything with our tech experts on all things travel. So family vacations, hiking, what should I pack? What's a good travel lens? Throw those questions down in the chat. And as always, have fun answering each other in the chat too. If you've got an opinion, I'm sure everyone wants to hear it. So let's get the community going today. And I'm going to kick off really quickly today so that we can get our friends on board. We're a little bit short staffed. I don't know how you want to say that. We have less people today, lots of people out on summer holidays and vacation, like you guys are going to be going on soon. So it's just the three of us tonight. So first I'm going to introduce our tech expert from Poland, PJ, who just became a dad times 2.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I think I can help you today in your travel photography. And if you have any question about Life ND or something like this, I am here.
Awesome. And then we also have our nearest and dearest over in Spain, Tito. Hello, Tito.
Hey, Mishalla, how are you? Hi, PJ. Good evening from Spain, from Madrid. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on your time. And it's a real pleasure to be here to share this time with you. And I will try to answer your questions today. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. Yeah, we've got a lot of time zones happening. There's some morning, there's some afternoon, and some late night people joining us. So thank you guys all for being here with us. We'll keep the hellos short, but we do appreciate that you guys join us from all over the world. And we're looking forward to a pretty good show. So I'm going to kick this off, and I'm going to actually give this to both of you guys and hear your opinions on this. Because I think this is a really great way to start it, although I tend to lean towards one camera, not the other. Frank would like to know about whether or not the OM1 would be better or OM5 would be better for general travel photography. So Tito, why don't you go first? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there are some things to take into consideration. But OM5 and OM1, both cameras will satisfy. But if you are looking for an equipment to travel, to go light, and since our system, micro zoical lenses and cameras are veterans, and we have a really amazing range of lenses, I will differentiate depending on your needs. OM5 with Pro zoicos, F4 zoicos like 12 to 45, 45 to 150 mils, and this is very light, very with a seal, and you will be able to do almost everything. OM1 is a bit heavier, but it's our flagship model, of course. But if you're looking for to travel, to go light, to have a light backpack, I will bet for OM5 with these kind of lenses, light lenses. We will talk about features and all of those things, because OM5 and OM1 share so many features and so many things that probably you will have enough with OM5. Let's go into the details later.
What do you think, PJ? What's your pick?
My favorite camera and my main camera is OM1, and my heart say OM1. But from many years, from first EM5, my main camera for travel photography, for family travel photography, when I go somewhere with my two child, I choose EM5 series. First time it was EM5, second one is EM5 Mark III. Now it's OM5, and I think this is the best camera for general travel photography because it is light, it's small, it's packable, and with my favorite lens, 20mm 1.4, is we can do everything with this small setup. I think this is back in time to from analog photography when we have SLR with 50 millimeter, only one lens, and we do everything the same like with OM5, but we have whole long list of very useful feature like live ND, face detection, everything what you need for travel photography in this small body. I can show you something. My setup from a few years ago for travel photography on EM5 Mark III. This is the same body and the same weight with three very good lenses, 12 to 45 f4 Pro. And with 20 millimeter 1.4 and with great telelens 40 to 150. Of course, f4 is only 1.5 kilograms with additional battery, and this is setup you can use to everything in travel photography.
I definitely tend to agree with OM5, especially if because the question originally also included some street photography because it tends to be lighter. I keep like PenF back in the day or OM5 now with like a 17 millimeter f1.8 or the 25 millimeter f1.8 if I just want to bring one quick, easy street lens just to get, it's kind of like my farmer's market lens. Yeah.
Of course, in silver version.
Yes. Oh, yes. Of course, the silver version, because then everybody will say, "Ooh, that looks like a film camera. Can I check that out?" All right. Moving on. This is kind of an open-ended question as well. We've got a lot of really opinion-based answers, I think, tonight, which is great. But what are the best features in EM5 Mark III that would be great for travel photography? So are there any favorite features that either of you have? Like I tend to lean towards the art modes because I think they're fun for travel photography, but
yeah, for travel photography, travel photography is a genre where you can face so many scenes in so many situations that portrait, landscape, nightscape, even macro, wildlife, action, sport, everything is there. Everything can be into travel. So EM5 Mark III, the previous model than OM5, is also great. Of course, you will need some computational features that we have on the OM1 and the OM5, but the EM5 Mark III has the same sense and same spirit than OM5 in terms of lightweight, in terms of and all of those things. Also, all of the lenses are 100% compatible with all of our cameras, of course. Okay, I don't know. I wouldn't say. Let me think about my favorite feature in the EM5 Mark III. But I will say I have no favorite feature. The EM5 Mark III is for me a great camera by itself, as a concept,
For me, favorite feature in EM5 Mark III is live composition, like in all EM5 series. Yep. In all my travels, I always won't have only one picture with long exposition, with each travel one great picture, and I try it. And live composition always provides me great opportunity to do something in different way, like normal long exposition.
I was going to say the same thing. My pick was going to be live composite too.
This picture is from live composition, and this is from Morocco. I can show you one moment. We have some.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of live composite when I'm out traveling because, the car lights, the star lights, there's so many different cool things that you can do with light and make your travel photos just a little bit more exciting. That's so awesome, PJ.
This is from Morocco. This is, of course, EM5 Mark III. This is live composition. I think this is 70 millimeter 1.8. This is totally different picture. If you put in Google Canyon Dades, you can show only very boring picture from mid of day with not good light. If you wait few hours, you can do with live composition very, very interesting picture. This picture have exposition between 1.5 hours and 2 hours. I don't remember exactly, because in first part of exposition I use daylight. This is this red light on mountain, and I must wait for a car, I think 1.5 hours to because there is no traffic, no big traffic. I need to wait for these cars, and only with live composition we can do this without composite picture in computer in post-production. We can have this from camera, and this is why it is my favorite picture, favorite feature in camera.
You know what's one of the features I love from 5 series, the high res. The high res, yeah, and also the high res was born with the EM5 Mark II, and now today we have triple high res, but also we have handheld high res, and most of the people who has already experienced high res, they are not using the high res mode just to get bigger files, because we also get better color, we also get better sharpness, better details, and also the images they don't improve just in terms of file size, but also in another terms, like ISO performance, and dynamic range. I love high res, and whenever I can, I use high res. Even I don't need 50 or 80 megapixels file, just to improve other things, other things on the camera, on the image. Sorry.
Yeah, an EM5 too. Well, actually, in all of our cameras, one that I find that I take a lot when I'm out traveling, especially like on hikes and things like that, is I actually use the in-camera HDR mode a lot as well. So what that's going to do, if you're not super familiar with our HDR modes, is if you've got a setting where you've got a nice shady big tree that's made this your landscape really kind of shady and darker, but you've got a really bright sunny day and a blue sky, you can only expose for one of those things, and your camera will kind of either pick one or you're going to pick one. But if you use the HDR mode, it's going to expose multiple exposures and kind of blend them together so that you can get that sky and the shady parts. I've actually, it recommends using it with a tripod. I use it all the time handheld anyway, and it works a charm if you got a nice good shutter speed. And I've even used it on my kids in a sunny environment, and it's worked just fine, even though they never sit still. So it makes a nice even image, and there's like a regular contrast one or an ultra high contrast one. So I would definitely experience with the HDR mode if you haven't tried that yet on your travel photography.
Yeah, I will say I don't talk about the stabilization when someone asks me about the main feature, the feature I love, or my favorite feature, because the stabilization, the stabilizer in the body is in all of our cameras. So I have forgotten to talk about it as a feature, because I have always in stabilization, So sometimes I don't remember that we have the best stabilization in the world.
Yeah, it works really well. I'm always impressed, because the first time I did HDR with the handheld, I didn't think it was going to turn out, and then it did just fine. The stabilization was there and awesome, and I was very excited.
Focus stacking, handheld, high res. Yeah, there are so many things you can do with the stabilization. Yeah.
All right, now I'm gonna put you guys on the wire. You got one choice, only one. If you had to choose one lens to take traveling, which would it be?
12 to 100.
I'm 12 to 40.
Yeah, I'll say, depending on your body. If I go with the OM5, I will choose the 12 to 200. If I go with the OM1, I will choose the 12 to 100. Yeah, because both lenses can be used in both cameras, But if somebody is thinking about the OM5, probably thinking about a lighter equipment. 12 to 200 mils is longer length than 12 to 100, but with the 12 to 100, you have better stabilization. Any combo, any camera from OMSYSTEM with the 12 to 100 is an unbeatable stabilization in the world. That we can have 8 steps, real steps. I have 13 seconds shot handheld done by myself, and I can demonstrate it. 13 seconds.
I believe it.
Like that is like a dream.
I shot a Milky Way one time at 10 seconds handheld, and I couldn't believe that it turned out. So like you were saying, we don't talk about the IBIS enough sometimes. That in-body stabilization is crazy. I'm going to go the other way. I like to carry something really small. And when I go out of town, it's always my 12 to 40 f2.8. That's my lens because it's small and it fits in my bag. I do like the 12 to 100 though, PJ. I'm not judging you.
12 to 100 is super universal and super quality pro lenses, but it's heavy and it's big. Of course, if with OM5 is I think too big, also, like Tito says. From few months, 80% of my pictures I did by 20mm 1.4 because this is primeless. I must think about what I have in my composition. I must think when I should stay to get good picture. And I love this lens. This is small lens, very fast lens, is bright, have very nice bokeh. I can do some reportage, some portrait, even landscape. Some time to times I do by 20mm 1.4, and this is my favorite prime lens, but still 12 to 100.
We are three in the stream live, and we have 3 different options.
So that answered no one's questions. I told you guys today is going to be very subjective, I think, to each individual tech expert, because it's not menu questions. Ask us menu questions. We'll all have the same answer.
Yeah, but I think Peter Bolt and King is now more confused than before.
I think, Peter, you should find the very good store with OMSYSTEM.Cameras somewhere near to you. Go to store, test our lenses, and choose what you need, because everybody have own preparation for about point of view, wide angle or telephoto. You must choose.
Yeah, somebody actually dropped in the comments too, and I always forget about this lens, and it came with the EM5 Mark III, and I think the OM5 has a kit version of this too, but the 14 to 150, I totally forgot about that. That's also a great, if you're only bringing one lens, it's a good option because it covers the whole range, and it's small and weather sealed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree 100%.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going through the comments, guys. Bear with me. Normally, I'm in the background running this whole show, so it looks beautiful and seamless for you guys. And, you know, we're short, and poor Claire Harvey May's under the weather, so I'm doing it all alone. So forgive me while I read through all these comments you guys are dropping here. PJ, this one's going to be for you because I saw your kit earlier. Yes. What is your suggestion for underwater photography?
This is depend, because what deep you want to dive with a camera. Because if you want only snorkeling, or you have open water diver PADI access, you need only TG6 with some light only. If you want something better, you want to do some deeper dive, or you want do some more interesting picture, I suggest any camera with underwater housing. I personally use EM1 Mark II with our PT-EP14, but this is end of life housing. Now you can choose OM5 or OM1 and put this camera to third-party company housing. You can choose Nauticam, you can choose some Chinese company, you can choose one more. I don't remember, sorry. But this is depend what deep you want to dive, and what do you do underwater. If this is only occasionally diving with some snorkeling or to 10 meters, you can choose TG6, and this is great backup camera for your main camera, and it's also great underwater camera for travel like this. And it's also great GPS tracker for hiking.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I'm not a big underwater person, not quite to the level that you probably go underwater, but I'm a TG6 kayaker. I like to bring it, take pictures of things right under the water. And for the Americans, that's 50 feet you can go underwater. Oh my gosh, PJ!
This is my this is me underwater with my set, my favorite set. This is to our Olympus UFL 3 flashes. This is EM1 Mark II with fisheye, because this is wreck diving. This is picture taken by Marcin Dobas, our ambassador, National Geographic photographer. I have photos from National Geographic photographer. This is with our old camera TG tracker on one side of my setup, but this is very heavy, very big setup for long and deep diving. If you only open water diver, you should take TG6.
Yeah, I agree. And they have the guide light for TG6, so you can still get a little bit of light underwater. You can also use your underwater flash. Like I said, I'm a TG6. I'm not a deep diver in the ocean. I don't. But it's perfect.
TG6 is 15 meters. You can go in up to 15 meters. It's more than enough for many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you want to go further, there's a housing for it as well. So you can actually get a TG6 housing and go up to 150 feet. How many meters is that?
45.
There we go.
15 without the housing is 15 meters, and with the PTO 59 is 45 meters.
And housing have one great things what TG6 without housing can't do. You can put additional light to housing, and you can put converter, wide angle or telemacro professional underwater housing to housing. I think this is good opportunity to start building your whole set to even deeper diving than 10 meter.
Yeah,
we are focusing on OM1, OM5, EM5, EM1, and lenses, micro-focal lenses, etc. But don't forget TG6 as a travel companion, because TG6 is a f2.0 lens, is 3 times, for many people is more tan enough, three times zoom, is a wither seal, is underwater, but it's not just underwater, it's also a field sensor. It has a lot of modes of shooting, boost. It's a great travel companion. Of course, it's a compact camera, but it's probably one of the best compact cameras in the market.
I always forget that TUF has so many of our pro computational features, like you were saying. Like it has pro capture, it has live composite, it has all of the OMD pro features.
Focus stacking.
Focus stacking, yes. It also has the super macro mode, like PJ was saying, where you can literally focus down to the front element of the glass.
1 centimeter, minimal focal distance is 1 centimeter. You can magnify 40 times. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And then with all the accessories, there's different lens options. And again, the housing, if you want to take it extra deep underwater. And if you're traveling, it's drop proof and crush proof. So if you accidentally drop it off the ledge of your Airbnb,
and it can be
you'll be fine.
In your shirt pocket. It's always in your shirt pocket. It's so light and so small. It's a bit.
Yeah, so it's kind of an all-around camera. It's an underwater camera. It's a travel companion. It's indestructible. I let my kid use it all the time because she can't hurt it.
It's a family camera.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. This one's a quick one. Just kind of going over the features of, someone has the original 12-40 f2.8. Is there any major difference between the original and then the new Mark II? Would it be worth the upgrade?
Better coating, on first lenses and better water seeing, higher class than original. You have EPX1, but second version have EP50.
IP53.
Yes, IP53.
Yeah, and so the coating in the fluorine in the front lens is a bit better. Yeah, no major improvement, but enough improvements to convert it into a better lens. Yeah.
The fluorine coating is actually really nice for travel too, because you can just wipe off the front of your lens. But yeah, it's not a huge difference in lens for sure. So that one was quick and easy. Somebody would like to know, and let's see. I just saw a video using the digital teleconverter in the OM1 for wildlife. What are your thoughts about using this option? They suggested RAW and JPEG, which, yes, if you're using the digital teleconverter, always shoot in RAW and JPEG so that you have both image files. But how do you guys feel? Do you guys ever use the digital built-in teleconverter in our cameras?
Yeah, I will say digital teleconverter, in fact, is cropping your image, and you're not. If you're shooting in RAW plus JPEG, you will keep the whole image in the RAW file, but you're cropping the JPEG into the half of the size. So that's it. What the digital teleconverter is, the cropping. You're cropping the image.
I don't use digital teleconverter.
I mean, I've definitely used it when I didn't have enough reach in the lens and I was just trying to get a photo. But yes, you're cropping. So you definitely want to make sure that if you are using that digital teleconverter, shoot in RAW and JPEG so you can have both files.
Yeah, it can, Michelle, it can make sense. If, for example, if you're on the location and you're shooting, but you don't have enough length, if not long enough lens, and you have to share the image immediately, and you don't have the computer with you, you can crop into the camera, you can share the image to whoever, but then you can do the detailed job, the task afterwards in the computer. Yeah, just in case if you want to share the cropped image, you can use it. Yeah, I think this is the only situation I will use it.
That actually kind of segues into a good question. When you're away and you're going to be working while you're at your travels, how do you handle your process flow for your photos? Do you edit once you get home and just edit all those photos? Do you back everything up while you're there? Or do you edit along your travels? This is actually a good one for both of you because you both travel for work. So you do a little bit of this all the time.
Yeah, he's talking about 3 months in Montana recently. So that's
long little bit longer than we travel, but
yeah, much longer than I travel. My trips are a week or a couple of weeks maybe. And I will say if you have time, because depending on the nature of your travel, depending on the nature of your trip, when you travel for photography purposes and you are taking pictures every day, every night, and all the time. And I will suggest to bring with you enough cards and also hard drives to transfer from the cards to the hard drive. If you don't have time to transfer into the computer, if you don't have time to select, you don't have time to edit and to delete. If you are 3 months away and you have time, you can download the images in the hard drive and in the computer, and you can delete them. It depends on the time you have while you're traveling. If you are continuously in the road, I will suggest SD cards and hard drives.
For me,
my trick
very
is,
important.
oh, go ahead. Sorry, PJ, I cut you off.
Sorry. For me, very important is use this button in OM1. This is a small button with star. You can add to all picture what you want, 1 to 5 stars. What will help you in selection after in post-production in Lightroom or another program, because this stars will be added to this picture, and Lightroom will see it. And always I have with me hard drive, but with SD card reader inside hard drive, and I can put my SD card and do backup without computer. This is my very old, I think, Western Digital backup drive, and I always have this with me. And I edit by Wi-Fi from this hard drive on my iPad. But this is only editing for Instagram or for Facebook. If I want a picture now, main editing or post-processing I do after whole travel in my computer, in my big graphic screen.
Yeah, and along with the star rating on OM1, what I tend to do a lot, especially if, like PJ said, I'm just posting photos of my travels to share really quickly, and it's not my magnificent waterfall photo that I want to edit and make look perfect. You can mark any of your images in any of our cameras with an auto share. So what I'll do is, as I'm taking photos and I see one that I'm like, ooh, that was a really good one, I want to share it later, I will mark it with the share icon so that the next time I connect my camera to the OI Share app on my phone, it will automatically import all of my favorite photos. So I have all the best, vacation photos automatically transferred to my phone so that I can quickly edit those ones and post them as I want. And then I still, of course, at the end when I get home and I have the giant memory card filled with all the photos that you have to go through and pick. I usually wait and do that when I get home at the end of a trip. I don't do it while I'm on the road. All right. So how do you carry equipment when traveling on board an aircraft? Thank you, Mark.
Well, in the backpack, and also I just check in the luggage with my dress, with my clothes. That can go into the plane, and I can be checked in. But my photographic equipment goes with me in the cabin. Absolutely.
Right.
Always.
I actually have two pieces because I bring, a lot of demo stuff to events. So I have the backpack. I have a really nice waterproof backpack, like Tito says, but I also have a think tank roller bag. It's called the Airporter, I think, and it fits 3 camera bodies, easily 6 to 7 micro four thirds lenses. It'll put an iPad and your laptop in it, and it's just a 4-way spinner. But yeah, always bringing your camera gear on board with you in the overheads. Try not to let them check your camera gear. But I can always keep it under 50 pounds, or I'm not sure what 50 pounds is in kilos. Like 22, 23. I can keep it under that. And it's able to go in the overhead bin. So yeah, the think tank roller bags are great. Yep, somebody else commented the Airporter is excellent. It really is for getting all your gear on a plane and keeping it small. It's very good.
Yeah, I remember my experience when I went my first trip to South Africa. Because of that, I had the backpack with all of the photographic equipment and with some clothes and main things for one day, and the luggage was checked in, and they lost the luggage. I was 10 days in South Africa just with my photographic equipment and clothes for one day. So they were washing, cleaning, drying my clothes every day. Yeah, if I do it in the reverse, I couldn't take pictures. I will be good dressing. I will have good clothes. But I will never taken any picture. Yeah, my photographic equipment is always with me.
Correct.
I am a big fan of all modular system of backpacks like Peak Design, f-stop, or something like this, because you can choose size of insert what you need in this situation. I use the same backpack in all my situation. I can take some only one camera and 2 lenses for small trip and put my clothes to the same bag with laptop and everything, or I can put all my telephoto lenses with 2 cameras, everything, if to the same backpack, if I use bigger insert. I think if you buy one backpack in modular system, it's better than buying a few backpacks for every situation, and you can use different inserts for different situation.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, of course, in your trips, you have to live them and you have to enjoy them, but your pictures will be your memories years later, and I think it's important.
All right. How many spare batteries are you guys? I'm a 2-battery girl.
Yeah, me too. Me too. 2 batteries by body.
Yep.
2 batteries and big power bank.
Ah, yes, power bank
Yeah.
for sure. I always have a power bank with me.
Yeah, but the power bank is not just for the camera; it's for the camera, for the smartphone, for everything. Yeah.
Yep.
But time to time, if I do some time lapse in night, power bank can help me very, very much, because if you do time lapse in mountain with temperature around -10 degrees, 1 battery or 2 batteries sometimes is not enough. Power bank very helpful in this situation. I always have power bank like 10,000 amperes with me.
Yeah, but you're PJ. You're a very extreme photographer.
No, Marcin Dabas is extreme photographer. I'm not.
Yeah. I know PJ probably goes much further with photography than all of the rest of us put together.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, I've got a few questions about LiveND. So let's try to attack a few of them at one time. So the first one is, do the LiveND filters replace external filters?
Yeah, depending on, could be, and sometimes could be. What we have, I can show how they work. We have the LiveND and OM1, OM5, EM5, EM1 Mark III, EM1X, and of course, it's computational. It's a computational feature. It extends the exposure time by taking more pictures and stacking pictures. So in the scene, those things which doesn't move will stay there, and those things which are moving will change the appearance. I mean, water, people. That's why you can get milky water or silky water. Let me change the camera, because I have a waterfall in my basement. Okay.
I love that you just have a waterfall, Tito. You're so prepared.
Yeah. I live in Victoria Falls. Yeah. In this case, I have the camera in manual mode. Okay. So I have in the button configuration, I have assigned to the front button the ND filter. That's another trick. It's another suggestion. So every time I press, you see the movement of the water. Every time I press, I enable or disable that. If I press the button, hold the button, and turn the dial, the front dial, what I get is I can change the different steps of ND. And also, because of the simulation, the ND simulation is activated, I can see the result before I shoot. You see? ND8, ND16. This is 4 steps, 5 steps, and 6 steps. This is more milk. That's how it works. And if you see, if I disable the ND filter, now you have, and you see 2 seconds exposure time. This is 64 shots of 1/30th of a second. 1/30th of a second by 64 times is 2 seconds. That's how it works.
That was a great explanation. And I love that you have a waterfall packed and ready to go so that you can show this off. Yeah, so that feature, somebody else was asking about it because they just got their OM5. That feature is in the OM5. And like Tito was showing, it's great for simple things like waterfalls or flowing rivers, clouds, different things throughout the day that are kind of making motion that you want to
make
show
the people
that.
Disappear. Mishalla,
Yep.
You can make the people disappear from the scene. And you can combine our LiveND with physical filters.
Yes.
You can add physical filters too. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we actually did that on on our launch party that we went to in the Tetons. We were using LiveND with ND filters because it was so bright out. So yeah, I mean, if you already own ND filters, you can definitely double them up and use both of them.
Okay. Live ND always give you better quality than a normal picture with physical filter, because you have better dynamic range and better ISO, high ISO quality. I think combine physical filter with Live ND is the best option you can do.
Definitely.
Also, going back to our IBIS again, the in-body stabilization, I was just up in Tahoe last weekend and didn't bring any gear with me other than my camera and a 12-40 f2.8. Didn't bring anything with me, but we ended up hiking up this trail and ended up at this giant glacier waterfall that was amazing. And I didn't have anywhere to, no tripod, nothing. And I just kind of leaned up against a tree and held it, and I did a 5-second exposure, and it's beautiful, crystal clear. So again, that in-body stabilization is coming in handy for all your travel photography.
Absolutely, Mishalla. The combination of all of those features, they are cutting-edge features, cutting-edge technology, because you have stabilization, you have the computational focus, any mode, any computational mode, which means stacking images, stacking lights, will improve dramatically the dynamic range, the ISO performance, and the color rendition. Absolutely. And you have focus stacking, Live ND, high-res shot, all of those things. And when we talk about travel, if you think about photographic equipment and say, okay, I'm going to travel with my family, and then probably we'll go to waterfalls, and then I will see wildlife, and then I will see night with stars, and probably I will need to make portraits, and probably, yeah, you have everything there. You have everything in the camera. You don't need the tripod. You don't need the ND filters. Of course, tripods are absolutely useful when you shoot hours or minutes, but you can have the camera in your shoulder, and you can make so many shots and so many different genders that you don't. Most of the time, you don't need more. And as you say, you see the waterfall. You don't have the tripod. You need to shoot 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Live ND, silky water. You have it there. You have it in the camera.
Right, and I mean. It's amazing because when I'm traveling, I'm always with my family and all my kids, and a tripod just never makes it in the car or on the airplane with us. So it's nice that I know that I can trust my camera to just do all those amazing things, and I don't need any extra tools, which is great.
And you can use your backside as a tripod.
Exactly. I've used fence posts. I've used big rocks before. The whole bottom of my camera is covered in little scratches from rocks. I'm very aggressive with my camera. Okay.
Yeah. Your camera is also protected. Is Mishalla protected?
Yeah. Everything has to be Mishalla protected. This one, PJ, do you want to address this? Is there a way to prevent keystoning in camera when shooting with an EM5 Mark III? Now, I'm assuming that's keystoning from your lens angle, right?
I don't understand this.
So, Photomaker, I'm going to table this question. Can you explain in the comments a little bit more elaborately what you're asking? Because keystoning that would happen would be the angle of view from the lens that you're using. We do have a feature in camera called Keystone compensation that you can activate that will actually allow you to straighten the X and Y axis of your image and make, trees appear more straight, or buildings or windows, whatever you're photographing. But I'm not 100% sure if that's what you're asking. So if it's not, feel free to ask us again in the. Yes. So he did follow up and say that was what he was asking about. So there is keystone compensation in your camera. You can activate that feature. I don't know if either one of you have a camera that has it.
Yeah, but
you can pop up on the screen.
Always. Yeah, I'm not sure. He's talking about some distortion on the lens, but it doesn't have anything to do with the camera. And if he's talking about keystone, depending on the angle of shooting, if you're shooting up or down, that's typical and that's normal. That happens always, not with the EM5 Mark III, with any camera. So let's see if he can help us.
Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about, the converging lines of architecture. So it's going to be your angle of view. I would suggest using the Keystone compensation. It's in most of our cameras, so you should be able to find it with no problem in your OM5. You got it? I was wondering if you had it.
Yes, but
Show us how to do it.
But
it's in Polish. Everybody's going to learn Polish really quick today.
It's now, okay. One moment. Wait.
It's grayed out because you're plugged in. It's not going to let you do it, but you can show people where it is.
It's here. One step
it's right.
ahead.
Yeah, because you have the video cable in the Keystone mode.
Yes,
is disabled.
Disabled.
Yeah.
But it's here. This is EM1 Mark II. In all our older camera, you can find here, and you can after activate in JPEG file straight your position here and in this way and this way.
Yeah, horizontal and vertical.
Yes.
Yeah, but in camera, the only way to correct the Keystone in camera is with tilt and shift lenses. There's no another way. Or technical cameras, large format cameras, but there is no way to convert to compensate the Keystone unless you are completely horizontal and the level is completely right.
So Photomaker is a follow-up because he said his output images were still not straightened. Yes, it is a JPEG only edit. So if you are using Keystone compensation, you'll want to shoot in both JPEG and RAW mode, because the RAW, if you're only shooting in RAW, you're only going to get that RAW file, which isn't actually edited. It only edits as a JPEG file. So you'll definitely want to use JPEG and RAW for that.
But you can straighten your raw file in OM Workspace or in Lightroom or some other post-production programs.
Agreed. Okay, so another all-in-one lens question, real quick. This one's a little different. It's OM5, going on a river cruise, one lens. I think we could circle back to the 14 to 150 for that. If you only had one all-in-one lens that does everything.
12 to 100.
I knew you were going to pick that. Or the 12 to 200, because that's also
But this is river. You need additional sync IS. This is why 12 to 100.
You need sync IS, you need wither seal, you need a real robust lens. I will bet 12 to 100 mils. 100. Yeah.
I feel like PJ's whole job is just selling the 12 to 100 lens.
It's not, but I am a little psycho-fan of this lens, and 12 to 12 1.4. This is two of my favorite lenses for all.
That's awesome. I knew you were going to pick that again. I know you too well. Okay, let me just scroll through here again. This is kind of more software-based. Is there an advantage with using OM Workspace or another RAW processor?
I will say OM Workspace is the best RAW converter for our files. Absolutely. I'm 100% sure, convinced. But of course, other converters like Lightroom has improved a lot. Capture One, Pure RAW from the DxO Labs, all of them are great. But any advantage, I will say OM Workspace is the perfect converter for our RAW files, but is not widely used for many photographers because most of the people has a workflow based on Capture One environment, Adobe environment. The workflow is based on all of those things. Talking about albums, sessions, images on the cloud, all of those things. But in terms of result, if you want to have the best result from OM RAW files, OM Workspace is the best, absolutely. And also you have the best noise reduction based on AI on the OM Workspace in the last version. Yeah. Of course, you have to convert, you have to process how is it, batches, huge batches of images, probably is not the fastest. Workspace is not the fastest.
But you can use raw editing by camera. If you don't have a very fast computer, you can use OM1 or EM1 Mark III or EM1X as external processor to editing raw file by camera, by cable, and it's working great.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody,
Great.
there's a lot of comments going about Workspace in over here right now.
And also, anyway, you need Workspace.
You started a conversation.
Parallel conversations, right?
Right. Okay. I just did that one. Let me remove that. Sorry, guys. I'm catching up. This one I can quickly answer. Lens distortion on 8mm fisheye. You can use defish except it will not be a raw file, because if you're shooting raw, that's uncorrupted data, right? So it's what your camera is seeing. So the defish on the fisheye that's available in EM1 Mark III, EM1X, OM1, and I think OM5, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Couldn't remember if it was in there.
Mishalla, sorry, what means defish?
Defish, to remove, so on the 8mm fisheye, we're going to have a language barrier here, guys. Bear with us for a sec. It removes the fisheye angle. Defish. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So it straightens the lines of your image and gives you an
the fish eye result. The circular fish eye outcome. Okay.
Yeah. It just makes your 8mm lens a little bit more versatile to be able to defish it. However, it is only a JPEG edit. So you need to shoot in JPEG and RAW for that because the RAW file will not be defished. It will be incredibly fishy.
Yes.
All right. How do you eliminate lens flare when shooting into the sun like a beach scene in Spain, Tito? Is that a matter of shooting angle, lens aperture, both?
In Spain, we switch the sun off.
Just turn that sun off. We don't need it.
Lens flare is really common in all of the system. Depends on the lens, depending on the lens construction, depends on the front lens. All of those things. The only way to eliminate the flare is changing the angle. I don't mean you have to remove the sun from the steam, from the framing, but maybe you have to move until the flare disappears, the flare moves, or the flare is minimized, because this is a physical result, and it's a physical. Of course, the lens, the internal lens, inner lens on the lenses are coated to avoid reflections, internal reflection, and a lot of those things, but it can be eliminated 100%. Depend. In our case, let me talk about a sample. The 8 to 25 millimeters lens and the 7 to 14 mils. 7 to 14 mils lens is harder to eliminate the flares because the front lens is curved, much more curved than the 8 to 25. I would say. I'm not talking about the aperture. I'm not talking about the. I would say shooting angle is the key. Shooting angle is the key. Do you agree?
You must also remember the most flares you have on picture, because you use very cheap and very not good UV filter as protector, and this is why you can get some flares on the lenses. If you have the best image quality, you must use good quality protector filter. If you use on your lenses like ours protectors, I think this is the best idea to don't have any flares on pictures.
Yeah. If you're going to spend $1,500 or $1,000 on a lens that has really amazing glass, you don't necessarily want to put a cheap piece of glass on the front of it and mess that up for you. You want to put good quality glass on the front of your good quality glass. I can't talk today, guys. All right. So this is a quick answer. Somebody agreed with us in our 2 batteries and an external charger or power pack, or do you just use the supplied cable? Most of our newer cameras, if you're at EM1 Mark III, OM5, EM1X, they all charge with just the cord. You can literally plug it into a power bank like what PJ was talking about. I charge my camera in my car because I have a USB port in my car. So when I'm driving to a location, I just always have my camera charging while I'm going. I don't generally pack an external battery charger anymore. Do you guys?
I will only I only use external charger when we go to events, offline events, and we have to charge so many cameras, and we have a photo walk in the morning, and then we have another photo walk in the evening, and we have to charge 30, 40 batteries. In that case, we use chargers. But when I travel, when I go out for shooting, when I don't bring the charger with me. As you say, I charge by plugging the camera via the USB. It's just 2 hours by battery. It's not so long.
Right.
If I don't have access to power supply on long hiking, my workflow is 1 battery in camera, 2nd battery in external charger, but plug into USB to power bank in my backpack to power my 2nd battery. If I don't have power bank or my power bank is empty, I use small solar charger on my backpack to power my 2nd battery.
I like how distinctly prepared PJ is for all travel photography. I feel like we're the opposite ends of the spectrum. I throw 2 batteries in the bag and hope I charge them. And then I charge my camera in the car while I'm driving to the place. No tripod. PJ, do you have a picture of your huge setup of all your camera gear? I feel like you're the most prepared with your underwater backpack, your everything. And I'm the opposite.
He's not a regular photographer. He's an extreme photographer.
He's an extreme photographer, correct.
This is my setup for Indonesia a few years ago. This is for 1 month in Indonesia. Of course, underwater housing, 2 cameras, because if I have only 1 camera, I think I lose them in 5 minutes after I go out from airport because I fell out or somebody will stolen me. We always have 2 cameras. Most important lenses 7-40, 20-40, and 40-150. Oh, and of course 8mm for housing. But this is all set up now. I have 2M1, 40-150, 2.8, 8-25, and of course 20mm 1.4, and of course fisheye to underwater housing, and 1 EM1 2nd camera because for underwater housing. And I changed tripod, some filters, but this is my normal setup for travel. For European.
PJ, has you calculated? You should know what's the weight of all of this stuff.
This setup is 12 kilograms. For my last trip to Svalbard in last year, I have smaller setup because there is no underwater housing. It's only 8 kilos, but with all equipment for long exposition, bigger tripod and everything for this, filters, of course, hard drive and some iPad. Most heavy setup I have for, I think, Iceland or for Georgia. I don't remember, but this is also with underwater housing, and this is 21 kilograms. But there, I have 3 cameras and few more lenses.
Yeah, I will say that you're not a regular because the reason of your trip is the photography. So you go there to take pictures and you go with all of your stuff.
But this is trip with my wife always. This is my normal holiday.
Okay. Can you imagine if you were not using Micro Four Thirds equipment, how how heavy will be your gear?
I was a DSLR user in another brand. I was full frame DSLR user, and my biggest setup because I am also sport photographer for my sport photography. This is a big, heavy with grip camera with full frame lenses with 3 to 5 lenses from wide angle to telephoto. Have 25 kilograms without housing, everything like this. And this I carry this on my back for every rally where I do my picture. Mostly 20 to 25 kilometers with this, and this is the reason why I changed for a Micro Four Thirds. I am 100 switcher from
full frame to
full frame. I know what I mean. What is mean have full frame camera with all lenses and have this on back on travel.
And your back appreciate that. Your doctor doesn't.
Yes, my doctor
Your back
too.
is
Yes.
so thankful that you came over to the OM system side. You got your Micro Four Thirds.
Yes.
Yeah, don't be afraid, guys, but you don't need 12 kilos. With 2 or 3 kilos, you have everything in the OM system.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, he went from 20 pounds, or I mean, he went from 55-pound backpack down to 20-pound backpack. That's a huge
change.
difference.
Yeah.
Backing into this picture, this is my setup for Morocco. This plus for 70 millimeters. This is 1.5 kilogram. This is like one lens, one good lens for full frame. I have whole set in the same weight. I think this is the best system for travel photography. And OM5, EM5 Mark III with f4 lenses, you have great image quality, you have great video quality for vloggers, for videographers, you have all great features. I think you can only have, I don't know what I want to.
Yeah,
this is the best.
I will say that one of the advantages of our system, if you're thinking about traveling, is with one camera, one body, and a couple of lenses, you have an all-in-one system. But if you fall in love on portrait assistance, you have the 45 1.8. So this is so big.
Yeah.
So you can take amazing portraits with that lens. And you fall in love in micro, you can have the 16 or the 30 millimeters in your pocket. So it's so great that system. You can have 4, 5, 6 lenses, and you never overpass 3 kilos. I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, we're running super out of time. We're already over time. I'm going to let one more question go through, and then we're going to let Tito and PJ go to bed because it's super late in Europe and it's like morning for me. So what is the difference between the 40 to 150 F4 Pro and the 40 to 150 F4 to 5.6? Is it worth the additional cost?
Everything.
Your first, PJ.
No, sorry.
Okay.
Only one answer is everything. This is great lens, pro lens with great water sealing. This is the best travel telephoto lenses what you can buy for your camera.
Yeah, when I started to read the question, I thought he was asking about 4-150 F4 and 4-150 2.8. But now, if you're talking about the standard lens 4-150, the 4-150 F4 5.6, 5.6 is a standard lens, is a kit lens for beginners for the smoker cameras, and they have nothing in common. They have in common the lens mount, and the smaller one, the standard one, is not bad for starting, but the F1, the 40-150 F4 or F2.8 are amazing. I'm in love with 40 to 150 2.8. It's my favorite lens.
Oh, I know. That was my first purchase. I love that one so much. The 2.8 is great. But the F4, like they're saying, the difference between the F4 and the F4 to 5.6, the little lightweight kit lens, it's not going to have the weather sealing. It's not going to have the same coatings on the glass. It's not going to have as much glass in it. When you look at the F4 Pro, you've got a fixed aperture. It's better build quality. It's just going to be a nicer lens all around. Your image quality is going to be better. So it kind of depends on
much more better autofocus in
faster
40 to
autofocus for sure.
Cost. And 40 to 150 f4 is size like Red Bull cans. Maybe this is small one. You can put this to pocket and have telephoto lens. Everything you can do portrait by this lens. You can do sports. You can do some wildlife. If you have close distance. I think this is great travel telephoto lens.
And also, you will lose some features like focus stacking. You will not be able to do focus stacking with the standard lens.
True.
Yes.
True. Absolutely. I didn't even think of that. Good call, Tito. Excellent. All right, everyone. We are approaching the end of our hour. We look forward to seeing you again in a month. Tito, do you know what next month's episode is? I can't remember. Oh, no. Video. We're going to talk about video next month.
Video, yeah.
I won't be on that one because I don't know anything about video. Sorry, guys. So we hope you guys will join us again next month. And thank you so much. We had the OM System team in the background answering lots and lots of questions. And Mike Amico, our other tech expert, was also in there answering questions. So thanks everyone who's helping us. Yeah, hi, Mike. Everybody who helps us in the back end. We really, really appreciate it because it takes a lot of work to make these happen. And we're thankful that you joined us. Have a great night, everyone.
I thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Goodbye.